And it can. People think that's kind of far-fetched, Brandon, but it really isn't, is it? I mean, we've seen the dollar devalued greatly just in the past few years. And it's possible if the nations, and we've been reading these stories on the program, China, Russia, certainly the Arab nations, all been clamoring to get off the dollar as the standard currency for the globe and come up with a new system. And if our dollar sinks even more, can't that actually happen?
Absolutely. In fact, China and Russia have already dumped the dollar in bilateral trade between themselves.
Yeah.
They trade in yuan and gold and rupees and SDRs, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I suppose, here.
Okay.
But China, so this is already happening. China and Russia have already done it. OPEC has been talking about it since at least 2007, dumping the dollar, which would hit us very hard since oil is primarily traded in dollars. So you would see a massive spike in energy prices for us, for Americans, if they dump the dollar.
And that affects everything in the economy, as we already found out. When the oil prices go up, the food goes up, clothing goes up, just everything. Everything is affected by the price of oil. And if our value is down and they use a different standard, which is more expensive than us, then has more value than our dollar, then naturally, yeah. That could send the country, people think we're out of the recession. And if people want to think that, this could certainly send us into another recession or worse, right?
Right. Well, I mean, the recovery, the talk of recovery is a bit overblown, primarily because we haven't seen how the economy will behave without constant injections of fiat from the Federal Reserve.
Yes.
If the Federal Reserve raised interest rates tomorrow and everything stayed about the same, I would say, okay, maybe we're in a recovery. But I seriously doubt that would happen. In fact, I think if the Federal Reserve was to raise interest rates tomorrow, the stock market would collapse back down to levels we saw in 2008. So it's a fraudulent recovery. It's a zombie recovery. It looks kind of like it's alive, but it's really not. It's just this Walking Dead